VP lineup.
Yeah, that they are, man. So let's run through it very, very quickly. For anyone that was worried about like what roles we played here by Na'Vi, it looks like they're not going to change too much, at least with the heroes they currently picked up. So it's going to be funny because the Batrider for the off lane, the middle lane will be a solo mid Dendi Skywrath Mage, going an early Null Talisman, going an early Mantle, not a full Null Talisman. FNG will be supporting as the Vengeful Spirit, and we'll have Vanskor playing his role as the Wisp, and he'll be babysitting a Vorse, but actually looks like maybe Dendi is not 100% sure where they exactly want to go to. So Dendi is hovering around mid, and Vorse is also hovering around there. So they may not have 100% confirmed their lanes just yet. Meanwhile, up on top lane, we'll have Seedoy. He'll be the puck up here. Jodam, the roaming Earthshaker with 4 clarities. He is not planning to come to a lane at any point. We'll have God as the Tinker in the middle lane. That puts down onto our bottom lane the Shadow... We've got BZZ as the Viper, and Shadow Shaman is... Last but not least, but he's got his name incorrect. Oh, he's going to kill me for this.
Oh, I believe he's Yo. I checked before the game as well, just in case, because I felt he wasn't going to do it. It's Rock's Kiss Yo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's... Because all the official names of Virtus.Pro are right. But okay, if that's Yol, that's fair enough. He's a decent support player.
Yeah. It's a shame, because I think that roster actually had incredible amounts of potential. They also brought back like most of what Goblak used back in those days, because I think they started the Jakiro push, the Liquid Fire level 7. I mean, level 4
everyone was saying it was Eternal Envy that started the Jakiro push.
Well, to be fair, we kind of took it from them, but yeah, we used it in the official against Empire last year, and we won with it.
So there you go, boys. There you go. Now you know the source of it all.
Give credit where it's due. You know, I Goblak is a man. You know, he's a genius, and I like that guy.
Funny. This is going to be a real rough lane for him. He might be really happy he picked up Boots first because there was no other way he could stand here. But he's using most of his Firefly to try and stay in range, but Yol is definitely going to zone him out. Speaking of zoned out, God is not getting a break in mid. Skywrath and Vanskor, because they got this bottle insanely early on Vanskor, then he's just able to spam out mana. I'm still waiting for Vanskor to spam out his own, however, because he's just giving the bottle charges to Dendi. So it's mass amounts of nukes being thrown at the Tinker as he's trying to desperately scramble to get some CS for his bottle.
Yeah, I think Vanskor is going to try to hit level 2 with this double wave here. And once he gets that, he's going to be able to use Overcharge to give Dendi the 1.5 extra efficiency on the regen.
Would you actually use Overcharge here, or would you try and harass with the Spirit Balls instead?
Level 1 Spirit Balls I don't think do very good. Oh, yeah, you know what? He actually got Spirit Balls. So.
Yeah, the main reason I'm bringing this up is because of actually something Dendi said to me almost a year ago. And he was always talking about the fact, like, the Wisp is able to pump out so much damage in the middle lane. So, why can't he play it as a solo? And I think this is almost a bit of a way you can get around that. And it's also something, too, which the Fnatic guys did, where you tether yourself up with the Tiny or the SA, and what you do is you take the damage on the Wisp, and you just force out the lane. Speaking of which, Vorse is almost killing off Seedoy on top lane. But you take some damage on the lane, and you use your Spirits just to harass them down. And then your secondary hero comes in, does the same kind of thing, and then you both tether and bottle. So you're really trying to be as efficient as you possibly can with health and mana regen.
Yeah, it's really nice. Now, the second bottle has arrived and the Wisp has taken it. So there's a collective number of 6 bottles between the Dire side on the mid lane. Now, I did want to mention... Oh, I'm going to throw that top
They're coming
lane.
for Seedoy. He'll be able to orb himself away if FNG won't get himself in range for this. There was actually a ping that came out from Jodam saying the VS was moving, and now Jodam, he could technically fissure and hold him here behind the tower because there's no creep wave. This should be first blood to VP if they can finish the job. The orb's coming off cooldown. Jodam, there goes your fissure. Orb in front. He'll have to attack at least once, and the once is enough. Phase shift the Gemini attack from Vorst, and first blood is spilled by Virtus.Pro.
That actually hurts so much. This is one of the problems of playing so aggressive these days without showing yourself in lanes, is that if you're staying at level 1 like this, what's going to happen is now this VS is going to be so irrelevant for the majority of the duration, because Puck is already a difficult kill. And this Earthshaker is kind of camping mid, which means that he's going to block out gank attempts. Now, the one nice thing that Na'Vi can do is have Funnick do this kind of stuff, just be a complete nuisance to the jungle. But at the same time, Ancients are being stacked, so this Tinker will eventually catch up. And that's one of the troubles of facing this hero, is that when you commit to a duel lane like this at mid, how much is your Wisp really getting, and how much is your Skywrath really getting? Because even at level 6, if he gets a solo kill, the impact isn't going to be there. And now the jungle engagement.
Yeah, this is both Jodam as well as Gold were trying to get a bit of a counter on the gank on the Firefly farming of Funnick, but now with its 3 sticky napalms, or 4 in fact, over on the Tinker, Na'Vi will be able to hit back. They'll bring down God, and Jodam, well, he gets the clarity cancelled. Are they going to go deeper for this one? I think Dendi wants to. But he's going to be a little bit more safe about things. While up on top lane, Havorst is really pushing Seedoy out of here.
Toby, it's been like less than 5 minutes into the game. There's 4 heroes at mid. They've already dove tier 2 at top once. They just dove tier 2 at mid. This is Russian Dota to the full, man.
But this is the way they're meant to be playing. This is the way they should be playing. They know how far they can push the issue. They know the Earthshaker wants to rotate around as well and find them with kills. So, how do you deal with that? Oh, Shaman. VS, he needs more movement speed. But there's no mana for Vanskor right now. He can tether, but there's just no extra buff. He actually went for a second point up in the balls.
And Nas pulling out a very memory or pain-invoking stat there, reminding us that Cloud9 has lost to the fallen Funnic Bat before. But this Bat Rider right now, what he's doing, what he did just now was really good. What he's doing right now is not as good because he's missing out EXP for himself, but also he's not getting jungle stacks health for him. So he's actually making an investment into no return in the future. As I say that, he's actually farming the jungle, which is good.
Yeah, this is the reason why that mid engagement happened, though. Like, he was the man farming the triple stack of Virtus.Pro. He came over to try and find the triple stack that Jodam was setting up for God, and managed to take half of it. And then
that
still
was
escapes out.
Well, the problem once again is though, even if he takes a triple stack like that, first of all, it was in the vicinity of like 5 heroes when it died.
Yeah.
So the EXP is really like minuscule.
Yeah.
The end result now is that this Barrett is actually level 3. He has no mana in his offlane against the Viper, who's level 5, and he has no jungle stacks in his own jungle. And luckily for him, there are no mud golems. But if that were the case, like this Barrett was going to have an abysmal game. So like these kind of space making moves, like you really have to consider up the follow up, because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to end up in a stagnant situation and you won't be able to escape it.
Well,
oh, there we go. They're going to check the ancients now, and it's only stacked once. Jodam's going to come here now, but he's going to see the VS and he's going to be able to get away.
well, VS might even consider having a bit more of a pound of this. The fissure will still be spammed out, but it looks like FNG is quite happy to have that happen, while the middle lane God is being sealed up, and again this combination. Really, you can't underestimate the amount of damage a Skywrath Mage can do. And just what is the Tinker really meant to do against this as well? Like, he wants to laser, but Denny's throwing orb attacks at him.
Yeah, he wouldn't even be able to do anything in a 1v1 at one point, never mind the 2v1. And the nice thing for him is that he's level 5, same EXP as the Skywrath still. But the Wisp is also level 5, which means that relocate ganks are going to come in, and now this Bat Rider is getting pursued out, but the Rasta won't be able to do much. So FNG is camping the Ancient stack.
Go to middle lane, man. That's where God's going to go
possibly
down.
Again?
Yep, stunned up, orbed up twice. There'll be a laser, which means the attack damage goes away, and there's a double TP coming in. There's more orb time with a find to Tinker, but FNG,
nice
a wonderful movement from Jodam, able to get the fissure block off.
Yeah. Now, despite the fact that it's just a lonesome level 2 VS kill, like that kind of thing really helps you catch up. It's about to hit the 53 mark, and if Jodam stacks a stack, and never mind, I don't think they're going to stack, but if they stack, they would have had an opportunity to come back with the Tinker, because he's not that badly farmed, considering the situation. Whereas Dandy, he's just hit level 6, and he's going to be able to blow out a combo so he can secure another guaranteed kill, but it's going to be difficult with the Rasta as well as the Earthshaker holding presence at the mid lane.
The smoke gank that was coming out from Jodam as well as Yol was just scouted out. They ended up getting an observer ward down in the middle lane for the smoke that was broken, but they're still looking for a guaranteed kill. And they're coming up here for Havorst, but Havorst already has himself like a Ring of Basilius as well as having his treads. So killing him off is not the easiest task in the world. They'll need to get Seedoy's silence. Like, that's the only way this is really going to work.
I don't know. I think it might because of the Earthshaker, and Havorst is aggressive.
He's down so far.
He's gonna bait himself in right
Where's your silence? The fissure's gonna be there, which means follow-up Hex, which means follow-up Shackles. And fourth roll is now completed. That is 3-2 now on the board.
See, like this kind of thing, like they have a ward at mid, right? And the Tinker's missing, which is kind of understandable because he's gonna be jungling. But like, there's 2 supports missing for an extended duration of time, so you actually can't play so aggressive to an evasive hero like Puck. Or elusive hero rather, and I mean it's a nice thing to do. Like I know I was watching your cast yesterday talking about the Weaver. Like what you like was Eternal Envy. When he plays, he always scoochies in and tries to use time lapse to create that HP difference. It's good for a lot of times, but one of the reasons why he stopped getting picked is because he's just this squishy. Like especially when there's stuns coming out of Fox from 1500 stuns on Earthshaker, and Rasta's walking around the map with double disable. You know, it's not too easy to play this kind of squishy hero. So. Yeah, he just got punished for a very greedy move.
Yeah. Well, he's going to change up his lanes after dying there, so Horse is now down the bottom lane, staring down at BZZ, but this is also the highest net worth hero on the field. He went to Chainmail first before picking up the headdress too, so this is 11 armor Viper sitting on the bottom lane, and he's almost finished his mech too.
Yeah, with this hero, if he gets mech anytime before 10 minutes with a treads, he almost becomes
coming to mid. The fissure from Jotham's trying to buy some space, but Danny got the Mystic Flare off. The orb attack damage, 5 life points, and the wave from FNG will get the kill. Avorce is coming in while Cedo is able to hold Danny in position with that Dream Call, but now the Weaver bugs on the Shadow Shaman. A big orb from Cedo, jumping himself a little bit further away, but the bugs will do some work. The BZZ is trying to do some work as well. Vanscore hit by the Viper Strike. He will tick out. That was the last tick as well.
Oh man, yeah, he's gonna be a little bit upset. Now Havos, don't take too much damage, friend.
He's definitely being a little over-aggressive.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad, but I mean, it didn't really do much either for the Viper or him. I guess
if Yol was still a little bit closer, though, we had to be careful. There's a sentry ward sitting over on that Shadow Shaman, and it would have only taken one shackle for him to be feeding himself in the mid.
For sure.
Especially up against BZZ. Yeah, 10-minute mech, man. 10-minute mech.
I'm telling you, this hero with this item, like treads and mech, that's literally all you need by 10 minutes. I think there's a lot of people who try to experiment the different builds. I've personally tried as well, like trying to get Aquila into mech and stuff like that. It's just not as efficient. If you get treads and mech and a magic stick in your inventory at one point, that's literally all you need by 10 minutes and you become unkillable and you just start hitting towers and forcing their heroes to come to you. It just creates so much space and forces out so much map movements. Speaking of map movements, Batrider has picked up his blink relatively early considering I didn't think he was going to farm it that fast. And here it is, level 6, camping the stacks, but a little bit unfortunate because the Tinker just cleared them out.
I'm interested to see if Funny can really do much more though with this blink dagger. Like, he picks it up so early, but there's no Tranquil Boots, there's no real survivability on him either. So he's going to jump himself in to what could potentially just be straight up hexes. Even the 3 points up in the shock is going to remove half of his life points. So I have a large concern for that, especially also when I just realized too, Shadow Shaman, like 3 points in shock means he's also like 80 experience points away from having mass Serpent Wards.
Yeah, very close. Like honestly, this game is VP's game to take. Na'Vi with this kind of strategy right now, it's just it's not nearly as efficient in terms of winning. Like this is the type of game like about a couple months ago when Shadow Fiend was getting picked. Like if you invest your time like double supports to roam on a Shadow Fiend, you have to kill him and kill him.
Fissure as well, right into a Vorce. The mass Serpent Wards are down to in range of the tower, but there's a relocate coming in from Na'Vi. They're going to look for some revenge kills right now. The Mystic Flare burning Cedoy away, but the 6 shots will keep him alive, but the last suit from Funnick will make sure it's a lot more difficult, but PZZ, he took the make charge off, he'll kill Fanskull before the relocate back out again. Can be completed. Na'Vi deciding to relocate in and fight underneath mass Serpent Wards as well as a fully mech'd up Viper.
It's like, this game is like, I would say about 70% over. Na'Vi can still come back, but once again, Toby, that was like a 4v5 fight, which they got wiped on. And without the Tinker dropping March, like one March of the Machine would have completely destroyed that fight. And considering the fact that Tinker wasn't even there, and he's about to have his boots of travel now because he got the Tower Gold as well as Ancient Stacks and the Creep Wave, yeah, things are looking really amazing for VP right now. Whereas Havos, he's rotating to mid, but this Weaver without a Midas doesn't scale nearly as well. And without a partner to get kills with, he's not going to secure anything.
Wondering what Havos is searching for right now. He's chakooching around the Ancient area, but it was a haste rune that God picked up, so there was no way he was going to catch up to him. And there's no Observer Ward that's actually seeing that Radiant Courier moving. So they didn't know it was buying up a point booster for BZZ. VS,
oh, they got
nice
the swap though.
He's going to buy his BTs. Can he get it in time? Stick charge is not enough with the mech as well. And Vanskull. Oh, Jono! Oh, the reach of the Echo Slam is great enough.
Yep,
but it is still a 2-for-1 trade-off. The Tinker did go down, and he got his BTs purchased before he died.
Yeah, see, that's the important note, is that now they're going to be able to force out the mid tower. So in terms of an objective-wise, they won on the side of VP. Not only that, but Tinker finished his item, so he actually didn't lose any gold. When he comes back, he's just going to resume stacking and pushing out all the waves. Speaking of waves, every wave is getting pushed in because Na'Vi's already lost 3 towers, whereas VP has lost none. I honestly think this is going to turn out into one of those games where the enemy team doesn't lose a single tower, and by the enemy, I mean VP. I don't think they're going to lose a single tower this game.
I will agree with you, man. I will agree with you. This is VP with every item that we're searching for. We got blinks on pucks there. Initiation's great. Jottam is even 1,000 gold away from his own blink after purchasing arcane boots. And this is a roaming Earthshaker that's managed to grab that. And that's also a roaming Earthshaker who didn't take any time in lane to really farm. And then you got BZZ, who's 1,700 or 1,600 gold away from his Aghanim's, which is going to make life almost impossible for every hero on Na'Vi. And the Tinker is Soul Ring Bottle BTs 14 minutes into this game. The Shaman's the only one who is a little bit weaker, and he's the man that's getting lassoed right now. Being dragged back, still alive. One charge to keep him up. The Meg charge as well. The Flame Break actually pushes him up the hill to where he wants to be. While Funnick will die, Vanscore, he relocates himself back to base. That was originally meant to be a save on Funnick. And now they will just camp his corpse here. FNG could potentially swap him up, but I don't see that helping. He's just trying to be in position. In fact, he may lose his own life for this. The tether will come up, but Cedoy saw it coming. He'll get a double Dream Coil. Wonderful foresight to see that arriving. And FNG going to get slowed down. The Orb's coming off cooldown in 1 second time, and they'll have to dive under the tower for the kill. The Orb going to be off target, but Cedoy will still jump in there. Nice on and swap, but it's still going to be Shadow Shaman. A quick TP out to safety. They're diving under tier 2 towers to get these kills, and they're being 100% successful.
Exactly, and life points aren't even dropping. As a matter of fact, they're going to transition that into a push even without the roster wards or his presence.
He's got him in 8 seconds. Like, that's how long it'll take, but you're right, he's on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah, I had to TP out from that engagement, but once again, everything's A-okay, and the other problem is that Viper is just getting bigger out of all of this, and so is the Tinker. And what kind of solution does Na'Vi have aside from a Weaver without a Midas that's rushing into a BKB? Cannot break trees, cannot go straight into a Tinker or man-fight a Viper. Hope is slowly being diminished on the side of Na'Vi.
Funnick. Man, that speed of Cedoy. He saw the Flame Break coming, and Funnick's just going to try and TP himself out.
That was a really close one. Wow.
Yeah.
I actually think BZZ had ulti there for a second.
He might
have been able to cast it. Yeah, I think what would have happened if he casted it, it might have missed due to the TP animation, but if he connected it, he would have died in the fountain.
Mass Serpent was being dropped down by Yol. He lost one of them to the tower, but it won't matter. The push is still going to be massively effective, and again with the March of the Machine's cover fire, the Mass Serpent Wards can easily do their job. And in fact, it's not even a creep wave, but a Vorst and FNG cannot be aggressive underneath their own tier 2. But at least a nice denial by a Vorst. Small consolation prize.
Yeah, I know this is not the best draft example, but I really like the term used there, the cover fire being provided by the Tinker March of the Machines. That 900 to 1000 AoE radius, like, if you actually drop it and you have a Jakiro or a Viper or a Pugna, these anchoring heroes that just hit your tower and you can't really have an optimal response to, because they're either so tanky or they just do too much damage to your buildings, Tinker just becomes the perfect partner.
That right standard opening is going to be over on Jottam, however. This may be an opening they don't want to take because Shaman comes in. There's actually a movement coming in with also that relocate. Jottam, he's not dead yet, still sealed up, so he gets the Echo Slam up before his own death. There's 2 heroes to the price at 0 at the moment, while God, he's TPing out. FNG, in fact, the rest of them were held there because of the Dream Call from Cedoy. So it is going to be 2 heroes being lost for Virtus.Pro for no losses of Na'Vi. But they did commit a lot to it.
I was really thinking it was going to turn. You know what happened? Cedoy actually got hit by one of the Wisp Balls and it cancelled his blink. And he had a 4-man coil and a Waning Rift. He actually Waning Rift when he tried to blink and it got cancelled. So he missed the Waning Rift and then he missed the coil as well because he had to walk a little bit. And then the Na'Vi heroes were kind of fast too, so they split up just in time. I really thought that 4-man blink Waning Rift coil was going to connect, and I thought everybody was dead after the Echo Slam, but I guess not. Lucky for Na'Vi, really. Like, those kind of ganks are extremely hard to pull off against the jungling Tinker because he's already got Marches down usually. And fighting into March with all those intel squishy heroes, man, it's suicide.
Surprised to how long Na'Vi left that Earthshaker there. Like, they were going for 2. Like, for the amount they committed, they wanted 100% 2. Because it would have been easy just to nuke down the Earthshaker at that last moment.
Yeah. And overall, I think that was the right call as well. If they didn't get 2 with that gank, like, you invest like 4 heroes to walk into the enemy jungle when your lanes are being pushed in, it's not efficient at all. It's just gonna get your towers lower HP.
The push is coming again. A blink in from Batrider could just steal his own doom right now with the double wave of March of the Machines and the Mass Serpent Wars down. They'll use Fortification, Na'Vi, to slow down this push from Virtus.Pro. But at the same time, I don't think they're going to stop, dude. There's a full Aghanims now over on that Viper. The Mass Serpent Wars are still doing their work. And, well, you get to be wrong about one thing. The Vorst took the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane. Cedo did manage to finish his TP down there, but he has no extra help to go up against Divorced.
Divorced, you know, that's... Toby, that's a player that manages to prove me wrong every time.
There it is. Dream Call, silence, enough damage. It's going to be enough if he actually has... Oh, he got the time lapse off. And now he can actually try and find himself some kills. The bugs fly to Cedoy. He did manage to evade them with the phase shift. Hence, Divorce is running a little bit further over here. He's got Gemini to take off cooldown. Now, the last two actually grabbing Johnson. There's no Fidget support. The Divorce will still go down, but the relocate in from both Dendy as well as Vanskor. Vanskor able to get a double kill here with his balls. And they're going to go for Shadow Shaman. Good Mystic Flare from Dendy and Vanskor combining up together. And then the relocate back out after they've already got the kill. But both Funnick and Divorce had to lose their life to get that kill. Or get those 3 kills.
And I might be wrong about something else. They might get the top tower if the Viper actually doesn't TP there, and looks like, yeah, they're gonna get the top tower. The Viper decided to TP mid instead for just about the same amount of creeps, but I guess the VS was missing, so it's fine. Regardless, he's actually gonna walk himself over the top now instead. And yeah, once again, they just don't have damage at top, so even though there is a push, looks like they're only gonna do a small amount of damage to the tower as opposed to getting it.
The downside about Skywrath Mage, can't force out any towers, but look at the farm on Dendy now. He's 515 with almost 100 CS. His net worth is almost reaching that of the Viper. He's got a Rod of Owie as well as a 2.8k gold bank. So, looking pretty damn good as far as like long-term investments. If this is going to be what, a Scythe of Ice to go up against
probably the only item that's actually viable this game. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you not flag maybe even a BKB so we can stand during the engagements without getting popped?
See, like BKB, this is just one of those games where like BKB might be a necessity, but it's not necessarily a game-winning item. Like what it gives you is the survivability, but not enough the damage that you have to risk to. And Sheepstick is definitely more risky from a safe perspective, but at the same time, it can guarantee you some extra kills and give you the advantage that you really, really need this game. So I think Sheepstick is actually the right call, because if he's just alive after all his teammates are dead from all the AOEs. I mean, what's a lonesome Skywrath gonna do to a Viper with Aghanims?
I hate to tell you, man, but it's a BKB. He got a Ogre Club and Mithril Hammer in the stash right now over on Dendy.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Like it's hard to play BKB against Blink Rasta as well as a Earthshaker, and I know they've been doing the majority of the aggression this game. They're hunting and they have the Bat Rider vision, but at the same time, like BKB doesn't stop March damage and.
FNG's walking up. He saw God and a very quick blink away by Jottam. It'll reveal the fact, though, that he has the blink, and this has to be flagged for Na'Vi now. But they're losing their top tower. Fast open walls are dropped again by the Shaman, and the tower's already down to almost half of its life points.
I don't know, like, I'm not too sure if I enjoy how VP's playing this. Like, I feel like what should happen is, the Earthshaker should always be with the Tinker, which was the case just now. And that's why Navi's actually unable to push the issue, because even if they dive the Tinker, somebody's gonna get stunned and they'll just die to March. But everybody's just playing too safe on VP right now. They're too scared of the Navi lineup. All they need is the Viper to just run in at the front and Earthshaker to just follow up with a stun.
Well, you got Viper coming up right now. Funnick's already in the tree line. Now they're going to realize the tree line's been pretty well cut. The ping came out straight away from Shadow Shaman, so if he checks that, he'll find his opening while the Viper Strike thrown into a Force, a little bit of chip damage, and they jumped up. Wonderful Dream Call coming out from Cedoy with a follow-up silence. He'll get himself away. Denny still with no BKB, but looking for more is, oh no, Yol is stuck on the hill. He can't get himself free. Vanskor will go down to the fissure, but Yol is burning inside the Firefly. He'll finally take a fall while Gol will TP back. He's completely out of mana, and Avorst, while Vipers try and chase him down as the bugs fall off him. Somehow in that engagement, only the supports were the ones to die.
Yeah, I don't exactly like how VP played that one, but nevertheless they still did come out ahead. Now did tower credit go? Yeah, it went towards the Dar, so they got gold out of it, and yeah, Na'Vi looks like they came out even to ahead in the exchange because they forced back a whole bunch of heroes and TPs as well. But nevertheless, it still stands that VP has Roshan potential as well as a 5-man anchor push that I'm not too sure if Na'Vi can respond to adequately.
You're gonna find out soon, man. The BKB will be up for Dendy in the next engagement. Vorslo still with no damage dealing. He went the BKB first, so it's going to take some time before he's got the Desolator up and running. I prefer to see this as opposed to just getting something like a Lincoln Sphere. A Lincoln's would not have helped enough in this game.
So no, not enough, just as you say. I really think this is a Deso game. Like, he needs to be able to burst down his targets. Especially this Viper, who's actually getting slowed down in his tracks, to say the least. Like, he was farming ridiculously well, and then all of a sudden tower started dying, so he started farming even better. But now it's really slowed down because his movements, like he TP'd to the wrong place once, and in these fights he's not really getting much either. So he's still 6-0 and 5, which is incredible, but it just seems to slow down for a moment.
VP's taking the edge attack right now. Jottam, yeah, he's in the wrong position. He's going to get lassoed and then dragged up on top of a cliff. Funnick, though, is going to keep him down, however, considering a relocate movement from Vanskor, and Dandy was also coming in. And now FNG, well, he found BZZ, got his son off the Mystic Flare. Viper having real trouble running away because of that Rod of Owie, but FNG, he will still go down. BZZ, he's just so damn tanky. Funnick with the Flame Break, not enough damage to fighting underneath the Mass Serpent Wads. So VS and Batrider go down for the Earthshaker, and the Viper will survive to fight another day.
Yeah, that... Like,
Shaman?
Navi...
Shaman? He's up a long way here. And of course, needs a little bit more!
Yeah, he's
he needed
fine.
one more attack. If he had the tank speed that could just get him one more attack, he would have been able to solo up the Shaman.
Yeah. With the Gemini attack would have been successful. But overall, like, Navi... they knew that the Wisp relocate... Actually, this is just a common mistake kind of thing, so I can't really blame them for that. But the Wisp relocate was running out, which meant that Dandy and Vanskor kind of make more plays. But the rest of the roster, like, there was no way that they could fight up the remains of VP, especially with the roster blinking in aggressively like that with the puck. So unfortunately, they got caught off guard. But at the same time, roster wards are down, which means they've delayed an imminent objective push, whether it's Roshan or the towers, inside their base for another minute or so.
Yeah, which will buy him a little bit of time to breathe. They're still so far behind in the gold. And until Avors has that Deso up, I doubt Navi's even going to look to try and get that bonus advantage of Roshan. In fact, they're all grouped up.
Which,
Are they actually going to go for this? I suppose
man,
with
there's actually...
Yeah, go on.
There's actually no way that Navi should be getting this right now for free. I mean, they have better map vision, and that's to their credit because they've been playing so aggressive, so I understand VP's concerns of being afraid of another aggression move. But yeah, there's no way that this should happen with 0 responses. They're actually not pushing in any lane because they're so scared. And that right there is the beginning of Navi's comeback. If they can do it, this is what they needed to do it.
Yeah. That was something which I was starting to flag it thinking, hey, they're around Roshan, so it came to mind, but you didn't think they could really achieve something like that. But they did. That was even a Roshan without a medallion. Like, they were using the tether to try and slow down the big man more than anything else. With
the VS, most of the time a VS lineup is good enough. Like, he has the Wave of Terror as well as the buff of damage to everybody. It's pretty nice. I just didn't think that BP were actually not going to have enough map control, which is just odd because all 3 of their cores right now are capable of pushing out the lanes. Viper at the mid lane especially, because even if he gets jumped on, anybody can respond with TPs and blinks. So yeah, I just find it odd that like the way they're playing this right now is so safe compared to what they would normally do or what they have been doing. Like that bottom fight at tier 1 was perfect. Right now they're just giving Navi way too much space to operate, and it's okay if Navi wasn't taking advantage of it, but they took advantage of it just now by taking Roshan, and they're going to take more advantage of it now because they're rolling out to the bottom lane S5. And what is VP doing as a response? They don't know that, but unfortunately they're not responding it the right way because they're TPing back and they're hiding in their own jungle again.
Yeah, VP have been trying for the past minute to possibly a minute and a half to try and find ganks up inside the dire side jungle. They were looking for the Batrider to be farming up stacks, but Funnick's nowhere near that. In fact, he's using his Firefly now to force out the bottom lane and get a little bit more space for the farm. Even though his Firefly's down right now, they're trying to get as many of the last hits into a Vorst, because he is only just a couple of hundred away from having the Deso. And with the Aegis, the Immortal also on a Vorst, he can afford to actually have no buyback. The other heroes, though, like, this is another combo which could be done. If you get enough money on Vanskor, you can lose both the Skywrath as well as the Wisp during the engagement, because then it turns the battle into being a 7v5. It'll cost you your buybacks, but you can bring with Relocate the Skywrath Mage directly back into the engagement.
Yeah, it's certainly really good tech.
Vorst! He walks out, the Sentry Ward's going to be there, he's got the movements before start back out, the Fidget actually not helping out VP right now, BKB, so he can time it, but then he goes straight back into the middle of the Virtus.Pro lineup. He's just trying to get out home and host. The Flame Break bought him some time, turns the bugs around. He's got the Aegis, the Immortal, so even if they do kill him here, it wouldn't be enough to really like celebrate. And now the rest of the heroes are coming in. Vanskor, that was a relocate move in. The Earthshaker's on the sideline. Dendy actually locked inside the Mass Serpent Ward trap until forced up a way to save the Shackles as well. He'll trigger his own BKB. Tinker's picked off Vanskor in the meanwhile, the back end to play, but Skywrath Mage does go down because it's Mystic Flare off. Some nice damage to the Shadow Shaman. But considering how bad that could have turned, losing just the Wisp and the Skywrath, they're probably going to be happy about that.
Yeah, they're definitely very happy about all of that. As a matter of fact, the angle that VP was approaching that from, like how they clumped up at that hill with the 2 sentries and the Observer Ward, Like, that was a really, really dangerous position walking up to a Bat Rider as well as a Skyrat that you don't know where it is. Because when you chase into that kind of a fog and you know they're taking over your jungle, a Bat Rider can just Firefly over every single hero and just apply sticky napalm stacks, and it just functions like a stun to any hero that's walking up hills because they have to turn at one point. And yeah, that was almost a disastrous situation. I would actually say VP, they're very happy with the results because not only did they kill 2 heroes, but they didn't get completely wiped, which was a potential situation.
Yeah. Well, right now, I'm wondering if VP are thinking about high ground. They don't have things like crop, though. This is one thing where I'm not 100% certain how VP are meant to end the game. Like, how do you even breach high ground? Normally they'd have something like a Cropulus, or you have a Pugna. He can force out the lanes. FNG is going to like lose his life right now. Or actually, no, he doesn't. It's nighttime.
Well, what should have happened
now
is,
they
yeah,
see
like,
him. The Observer Ward sees him now. So
yeah,
they're
see, this
rotating
Tinker,
over.
he should have actually TP'd or stayed at the top lane because he knew heroes were approaching him, so he would have just forced his team to rotate in, and now the Rast is finally coming.
There's a relocate coming in. BZZ's already used his BKB, however, Vanscore, man, PZZ. The damage from this Viper is ridiculous, and Avos, he's currently a shackled chicken. Shadow Shaman gonna get nuked down by the Sunrays. The Mystic Flare doing the work, but Avos able to get his time lapse off, which means he's going to keep battling it out right now, sitting on top of where he thinks the puck's going to come back up again. He's so low in life, the Agassi model, he lives on 9 life points. Funny's looking for the Flame Break pickup. Basito's already managed to bottle charge himself up. So he's away to safety, and Avos, again, man, he's almost playing like a Chinese carry right now. Just unkillable.
You know what? That was actually a major mistake coming out of Sidoi. Havos did play very well, and this is just his trademark. He's a very, very manly player, but Sidoi, after the phase shift, he was so scared that the Tsukuchi was going to kill him that he just blinked right away. Yep. Tsukuchi actually ran out for a good 2 seconds when he was on top of him, so he had all the time in the world to use Waning Rift on a 90 HP Weaver and just kill him, which would have secured the double kill because they had Disables following up, ready to come off cooldowns. And he actually just ran away, which allowed Havos to get out of that tricky situation.
Sidoi, he's going to have a crank now for a bit of revenge on it. FNG is the main man. He's going at 6-1 charges. We'll keep him alive for a little bit until, well, Viper's last attack did the job. Denny into the BKB. He's still being really slowed down. He's just going to TP himself out to safety under the cover of the BKB. I got a feeling by the time we have 40 minutes in, man, every single BKB that's on this field is going to be at 4 seconds.
Yeah, it's simply not enough this game. Like, even at bottom, remember that fight with the Rasta Wood dropping right on top of Dandy?
Yep.
He got Force Staff, which was really, really nice by one of his teammates. But, once again, like, you just can't get that activation off against the 1500 range stun that's coming out of Fog at nighttime. Or a Rasta Blink. It's just way too difficult sometimes. And if you're leading the charge especially, because, I mean, let's be honest here, who's going to be the frontliner for the Navi team except the most farmed hero, which is the Skyrath, right? Yeah. Like, it's just way, way too difficult. You can argue that the Bad Rider is going to do it, which is fine. But he doesn't have his BKB up right now, so everything's just really difficult trying to work with their picks against the lineup of VP. The other thing, though, is that Sidoi, pardon me, he didn't yield Scepter, the Skyrath, or the Wisp in that engagement just now. That would have guaranteed another kill. Even though Dendi had BKB, it would have given his team 2.5 seconds to reset, and perhaps drop more nukes, such as like March of the Machines on a BKB target. They might have been able to secure the kill, but mainly the Wisp, like, if you just use the yields as a 2.5 second disruption, it could really do a lot for your team to set up better fights.
Well, also we get to have a bit of a breather while both the teams just push the side lanes. Considering how many people you have tuning in as well, because I wasn't ready to do this live stream over on Twitch. Because Dota 2 Lounge will be doing rare giveaways. 5 rares will go to a subscriber of our Join Dota channel. We'll be doing this between at the end of this game. I'll do it inside the chat. So at the end of this game, make sure you're a subscriber, watch the chat, and all you gotta do is just do !raffle, and we'll do that tonight. So if you're looking for some easy rares, that's one place to get it.
Sounds like it's time to subscribe, Toby.
It is, Claire. Just like you making a Twitter account. Time for that as well.
Oh, no. Now, Sidoi's walking up a little bit. Let's see if he's going to do orb into the trees. They actually spotted him.
There's the last, so he's already had the orb down, though, but the relocate's coming in, and that's going to be Jon him! Big Echo Slam, Vanscore and Dandy instantly regretted. Dandy is going to be stuck here as well. BKB can't even get it off because he's shackled and controlled. BZZ with a double kill. Now Avos triggers his own BKB. He does not have this Agassi model anymore. He's just trying to man-fight up against the Shaman. He'll be capable of killing him off, but the Sentry Ward's still giving good vision. A secondary fissure. He's still in range of the Sentry, but no Shikuchi. Silence as well coming out from the puck means he's unable to escape. And Sidoi in phase shift will evade and get himself away from the engagement, and Funnick is the only one, the injured warrior, going back on the bottom lane.
Yeah, Cito actually played that one really, really well. Just at the end there, he phase shift and then he used the Waning Rift, knowing that the Weaver is going to have a turn rate to try and hit him, especially through the Earthshaker Fissure, because of the terrain padding of how Fissure works. And yeah, helped them secure the kill. The other thing is, Funnick engaged on a target that actually saw him, which is understandable. I mean, sometimes when you get caught, you just have to go in deep. But alternatively, he could have backed. I'm not too sure how the communication went in with the relocates, but basically going on Puck right now is suicide, because even after the lasso, even if he gets silenced, he can just use himself, and that just completely disrupts the fight of Na'Vi right now. So they absolutely cannot go on the Puck. And the other thing is they cannot go on the Viper because they just can't burst him down right now. So yeah, that was just a really bad engagement that they decided to take.
Well, right now, man, Na'Vi's got to find a way to scrimp and scrape to get themselves back into this game.
Yeah,
luckily
they're
for them, it is a best of 3. It is still a best of 3, so this is only game number 1 of actually 2 series coming up tonight, because we have Team Marino Tinkerino, if I say it correctly, going up against Team Empire. That best of 3 will come up directly after VP versus Na'Vi. So if you don't have yourself a beverage or a toilet nearby, I suggest you get both. Oh, Funnick. Oh, Funnick. The Viper Strike connects on him. Luckily, he's got a little bit more support around him, and VP also. Again, man, I think the word you've been using a lot tonight is scared. Like, Jordan potentially could have just blinked himself in and gone for the fissure. I don't know if he actually, looking at him, his blink was on cooldown when I checked him after it. So potentially he was out of range. But it doesn't look like VP is always ready to attack. They're just hiding, trying to go for the counter attack and make no mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's understandable, of course, when the map is dark sometimes, especially when your heroes have been getting picked off. It's a hard decision to make always to play like Hovos at every given moment of the game, but at the same time, you know, when you have an advantage, you should be able to gauge it. And speaking of which, now they're about to kick in with a double.
It's going to be Hex, Shackles. There's a Scythe of Vice already over on Cito, freshly selected, and now Hovos. They're trying to beat him down. The fissure had to hold in there a little bit longer. If that secondary Hex wasn't there, it might have been possible for him to finish that tier 1 tower. But now with the Force on the sidelines and no buyback available, he's short by 160 gold. This is going to be a tier 3 tower in mid at least.
Yeah, Hovos will actually be able to buy back, I think. What's going to happen is Dendian, he's probably telling his team like, yo, I need 100 gold. Can you kill that tower at top? And that's exactly what's happening. So he'll be able to buy back, but I'm not sure if they can still stop this push. Viper's anchored already, Creep Wave is coming in, Tinker has begun his spam of March of the Machines and has an E-Blade ready to go. This is going to be possibly a Rax push.
Oh, let's see where the initiation comes from, man. Venscore still on the front line. God's just TP'd himself back out, but there's a triple March of the Machine Wave, and Na'Vi aren't getting anywhere near it. And the ball is just a little bit too far away to be focused onto just one Rax. So it's just going to be the tier 3 tower, that's all that's lost. And that's also at the same time that Avors did his buyback. So money is wasted and towers are lost.
Yeah, objectively wise, this was actually the correct move, but I can't help but have it engraved in my mind right now that they're playing this a little bit more safe than they could be, or they should be rather. I think what they should have done is maybe a fake back. It would have been really optimal, because then they would just camp themselves outside the enemy base with a smoke. And with their double cheap sticks as well as the huge Earthshaker / Puck initiation potential, they could wipe out Na'Vi in the flick of a finger. But as it stands right now, you know what? They're doing it right now. It's a bit delayed, but they're smoked up. They're camping the mid lane. What should probably happen is they want somebody to push it out. Like if you 5-man smoke or 4-man smoke, it's sometimes too obvious. So maybe Tinker should be pushing out top.
They're using the Puck as bait right now. The Hex will go this over on Funnick, Force BKB, but in comes Cedoy, the Echo Slam. Again, Vanscore and Dandy. Jordan's been on him like a hot rash, and they're going to get even more. Vorst and FNG, they're a little bit further down, but that's going to be a Vorst dying. FNG swaps him out, but then a Vorst timeless back in again. FNG sacrificing himself for the greater good. Tinker's already brought himself back into the game, and a Vorst running down south. With BKB on cooldown, they'd love to catch up to him, but they're not going to be able to. And they also are able to... Well, okay, is that their gem? No, that's FNG's gem, which he lost, sacrificing himself for a Vorst.
Unfortunate, unfortunate.
And now Roshan's going to belong to Virtus.Pro. Na'Vi got it last time, but VP will easily get it this time. They got more than enough damage. They're going to have a mana style for Viper as well.
Dire's middle barracks.
Oh man, you see that VS aura kicking in right now, Toby? That's such a pain to deal with. Seriously, so painful to kill VSs these days.
Well, he'll spawn up in 8 seconds time, but at the same time, so will Batrider. The Wisp can also relocate in. They're coming out for this, man. They're coming out to fight. They're gonna know that Roshan's being done. The Mass Open Wards are in. Relocate. Are they ready to go? They're getting themselves in range. There's a Hex already used on Roshan.
Funnick,
The job's
Funnick.
not done yet. 12 Funnick, you can see it. Flame Break. Is he just going to go in? Roshan snatched. Funnick got him. He'll trigger the Aegis, the Immortal, and they might just try and fight from inside the pit. The Mass Serpent Wards are still
please
here,
don't.
however. Cedar needs to get himself out, and Funnick triggers the BKB. The last two are going to be swamped him out. There'll still be the kill, however. But at the same time, they're coupling abilities. BZZ up tops the BKB, kills off the Vengeful Spirit. However, BZZ locked inside the pit. No way out. He's trying to use the Mass Serpent Wards as a bit of cover fire, while the Tinker up on top of the cliff. The Mystic Flare from Skywrath. There's almost 1,400 gold going into Dendi, and they need some kind of stun on top of the Tinker. They just don't have it, however. Seedoy so low on life as the puck. But Na'Vi should count themselves lucky they're not fighting a team fight up against Nagus the Immortal. And they got as many kills as they did. Not to mention that big streak. That was a 15-0 streak for the Viper that Denny was just able to
Radiant's
claim.
bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, that was really, really huge. I'm actually surprised that Na'Vi came out that way. Somewhat of an even exchange after the Aegis Snatch. I thought what was going to happen was Na'Vi was going to commit themselves deep into the pit, because that's where Funnick was. And it just seemed like their tendency is to be running in deep these days. But the swap out from FNG was actually brilliant, because what it allowed to do was it allowed Na'Vi to focus down the target they were aiming for on their side of the battle. So instead of forcing their heroes to commit into this 3-stack, 4-stack of March, which actually, luckily for them, ran out because she had to return to base for that moment the fight actually began. Everything kind of worked out in its place, and it was just really, really nice. All set up by FNG, and I think it was more of a luck thing, because they kind of broke their own lasso as well, and I'm not sure how much they wanted to do that. It worked out in their favor in the end, heavily in their favor.
You looked at it as like, man, that had to be a mistake. It had to be a mistake, but you're right. The positioning was right. VP dragged over too far, and now they're still fighting uphill, quite literally uphill, because they're getting initiated on. Her Vorce is getting bigger and bigger as time goes on. And I'm not seeing the Viper having as much of an impact anymore. They got the lasso. This could be big if they can kill him up before he can phase shift. They got the rift on him. That was a lot of silence, a lot of damage being pumped down from Na'Vi, and with Puck on the sideline, he does have buyback. But Na'Vi might think about pushing tier 1 finally in the mid, with that Puck being dead.
Oh man, what Seedoy just did was like so cocky and so unnecessary. Like, he actually just stood in there. Oh, I'm gonna have to hold that thought. Somebody just got swap? No,
not yet. Now they do. BZZ, you're right about it. It's going to be Viper getting nuked down. The Echo Slam, however, from Jotum instantly gets to killing off the Vengeful Spirit. Vorce able to chase down a couple of kills, however, underneath the Mass Serpent Wards. And then everything's a little bit split. Funnick, Seedoy chasing all the way in. Talking about cocky, he's got that DD rune now. Dendi trying to go in. The seals on Seedoy, not enough damage. You'll set the up. He needs to be able to blink himself out. The phase shift, trying to buy time, but 2 seconds on the blink. He can't get himself out. It's a triple kill for Vorce. He sat right on top of him with the Shikuchi. And now they can mop up the Mass Serpent Wards and even look to push out further down this middle lane. Courier, sniping out the gem. And, well, Na'Vi won't better claim that, but they should be really happy again with these engagements, Na'Vi.
Yeah, they should be. And now that Dendi has a sheep stick, things are really, really beginning to turn. As well as the fact that Overcharge is just keeping all their heroes alive. And Vanscore, of course, is known to be a really good Wisp player, but with that mech, Overcharge, Urn, and all the regen he's providing for his carries, they're doing so much work in the team fights because they're just minimizing damage. But overall, like, what Seedoy did there was basically he stood at the edge of that cliff at mid lane, or edge of that hill rather, and that gives enough vision to see the edge of the hill going up north, coming from the dire jungle. He thought that he could react fast enough. What happened was he couldn't, and he got lassoed up and forced a very, very critical fight, which began in Navi's favor because he has the majority of the farm. He's the biggest initiator right now. That was huge. The fact that happened and then they lost the tier 1 tower along with the puck once again means that the next way they can come back now to get map control once again is allow their Tinker to push out lanes a little bit greedily to the point where he could actually get caught up. But more importantly, just camp him with a smoke, because this Viper right now, he can't walk around the map freely anymore. The Weaver is actually big enough to the point where the Viper can't do much to the Weaver alone, because even if he gets the ultimate off through the Lincoln Sphere, it's not going to be enough against the time lapse and all the other things like the BKB. So the Tinker has to really push out the lanes, and it's going to be difficult because they've been playing so safe, and if they follow that tradition, they're not going to get a lot of map control back in their favor.
I'm actually wondering right now if VP should even be engaging. Like, do you just leave it to the Tinker to do the split pushing? And then, if you do that, then Nami's got too much time to get a completely stacked Weaver.
Yeah, like Navi actually looks like they're content with just farming 6 items on their heroes, because honestly for them, that's what they need to win this game. As much as it seems like they're better at fighting, which it kind of seems like they are because of their heroes, they're not good at pushing objectives. Whereas VP, they can take towers and buildings really, really fast.
But Navi's really capable of defending. Denny's actually picked up something which is like rare to see on a Skywrath mage. But you got an Aghanim Scepter on a Mystic Flare. That's a 0-second cooldown. As long as he's got a mana pool to support this, he can just keep spamming the living crap out of Mystic Flare on whatever hero is there.
I've actually never seen this before yet. In a real game, I've never seen this. Like, even in a pub game, I've never seen this. So, this Skywrath is actually sitting at 2.6k mana. I've never seen that either, but okay.
Okay, but how's he sustaining this? Like, let's just think about other items which he needs. Can he be the man to buy it? He could even buy a Shiva's card just to increase the mana pool? Because I'm still worried that he could just get destroyed with a little bit of physical DPS coming out from a Viper.
Well, he certainly can, but considering Skywrath's like extremely good range, 1000 range on the Arcane Bolt, 1600 on the Concussive, and his Mystic Flare also like a huge range. He's gonna be in the backlines, he's gonna be able to spam well, so long as the team protects him. And he has massive amounts of movement speed, especially in conjunction with the Wisp. Granted that the Wisp chooses him instead of the...
They're coming into battle. They see BZZ a little bit too far out. Blink BKB, and not on Viper, but Vorce trying to buy his space, and shot him! Oh, Funnick! All he wanted to do was just tether into that one. He got obliterated! The Viper gets his mech charge up, and now he's battling up against Dandy. Shackled up, controlled up, the wards are there, they're pushing Yol back out of the mass open wards, and now Vanskor, his relocate's coming off, but actually going to drag a Vorce back in a moment. He had to tether that one off. And Seedoy, low on life. Funny can get rid of him. Double kill for him. It's a Slaughterfest with double buybacks. A Vorce getting nuked down by a respawning up god. Now ending a monster kill streak of a Vorce of all people. So they successfully defend on top of a tier 2 tower. But that was, how many buybacks did we end up having from that one? There was a buyback from the Wisp, buyback from the Earthshaker, buyback from the Tinker. So 2 for 1. 2 in the hands of VP.
Yeah, see, like, I know it's just like an aftermath statement, but I don't think I can call that a success personally. I think that was actually a huge loss for VP. The fact that they lost 2 heroes, 2 of which are cores, and Navi lost the same thing, but you know, it's like the fact that it went 2v2 on a situation where Navi was pushing the tower in the fog. Hey, nice thing, but
God's in trouble though! The last dude's gonna nail him here. This is all for the VS, and Vanskor out of the mech charge as well. They got him. Tinker's on the sidelines for a full 100 seconds. He does not have buyback.
Yeah, that's like the standard late game Tinker mistake kind of thing. Like, you go for one support that's pushed deep into their map, thinking that you can snipe them out and get out really quickly. The thing with G is like he played so safe after 10 minutes in this game because he knew he was getting hunted, and even then he still got caught out in team fights because Navi just has so much mobility, and sometimes he's just not in the right.
Funnick, relocate as well. Shaman. Okay, that all started when he tried to de-ward. Y'all really thought, because he force-staffed himself up to get on top of this cliff to de-ward the die ward. And then he's just going to de-ward it and then blink himself back down again. But he force-staffed himself into the Alpha Wolf camp.
Uh-oh.
Which was the crazy thing. Oh wait, are we actually on the... Oh no, we can't. Sorry, Malcolm Ward cannot be awarded. Even though VS is doing a pretty damn good job. FNG is 1 for 14. But to get the full Malcolm Ward, you cannot... Oh, Jot him. Flame break. Too late.
Close. Very close. Very close.
The wise thing, too, he's on the other side of the tree, so he could not be spotted.
Yeah, well, actually, Funnick was in Firefly, which is why that was possible.
Ah, you could see over the top. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And then what he should have done is, if he actually flame break right in front of his hero, they would have gone in. That would have been a huge play by Funnick. But it's hard to run into the fog with Bad Rider at nighttime thinking that you're going to always get kills, because I mean, even though he's hunting heroes.
Seedoy is trying to, what I assume to be a Lincoln Sphere for protection. He's trying to afford that. We've got a Talisman of Evasion flying out to BZZ. So the start of what is probably going to be his butterfly. But at the same time all this goes on, Roshan's been taken. FNG's almost finished his full BKB. He's the man to take the cheese for the team. It looks like I was right about Dendy. He's at least picked up the plate mail and will probably go into that Shiva's guard. And of course, the main man who's already finished his own butterfly is running around with an Aegis of the Immortal, which was taken from Roshan moments ago.
Yeah, to address the items real quick before this engagement happens, actually I'm gonna have to hold that thought because it looks like it's gonna...
Oh, you're good though. The smoke, BZZ instantly came off him, and the VS gets the swap. It's over on the Viper. The FNG for the Viper's worth it, but then Shadow Shaman, he trying to walk in there and take it up. The BKB And Mel, BZZ does get himself back out to safety, but they lost the Shaman, they've lost the BKB charge over on the Viper. It's a 4-second BKB, no wonder it just disappeared almost instantly.
Now Navi's going to play this safe. Now when they finally have the Aegis, they're going to say that, okay, we can actually refresh this push in like 2 minutes before the Aegis expires. And I think that's exactly what they're going to do unless they decide to get really aggressive and find a really great opportunity. Now Dendi has dropped the plate mill. Actually, no, they gave him the cheese literally just to recharge his mana.
He used the cheese, and that still didn't make him max.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to the item addressing, like the Shivers is perfect.
They're coming mid. Blink. He couldn't get Funnick. He couldn't get Seedoy. However, Funnick getting trapped out. The relocate's coming in. Funnick the fidget from the Earthshaker out to hold him in position,
smokes.
but there's a lot of damage from that Skywrath Mage. He's out of mana for his Mystic Flare, but the orb damage keeps coming out, and that's going to be a double kill for Dendi. Seedoy locked inside the river. He's trying to orb himself up to safety. Jotum's right next to him. The Rod of Howie's slowing him down, but he's still able to blink himself away to safety. But that was another double Mystic Flare. That's what nuked down the Shadow Shaman in the mid lane before. It was a double Mystic Flare basically on top of each other.
Oh man, I really like what Funnick did here. He bought back just to push out the top wave, so in case Tinker buys back and their push gets delayed, so Tinker can't respond with shenanigans. What he's gonna do now, he's probably gonna push out one more wave with Firefly, or that's probably the best move. And then he's gonna rotate mid because he knows with the Viper down, even if they force out buybacks at this point, they can probably push the tower with the Aegis.
Yeah, they've already, he BT'd himself into the second wave, not the front wave, however, so he hasn't revealed the fact he's in here in the middle lane, but of course, that damage output with Vaynescore's buff up, they're ripping through the racks. VS, man, look at the range of that swap! Okay, that Shaman's a sad man, especially. Also, Jotum, he dragged him into the secondary Mystic Flare. I think this is over. They're losing too many of their supports. They don't have their cores up and running. Shaman's the only man who has a buyback, but what's he going to do? Buyback and give him mass serpent wards? That's all he can do right now. They're going to beat into the tier 3 tower on the bottom, into the range racks as well. And this is going to be Na'Vi taking a double rack. So they go a little bit more defensive here, or do we go balls deep?
Oh, I think they just play it safe on both teams. They know that they can't hold the racks on the side of VP. Na'Vi have way too much damage at this point. This Weaver is huge, along with the Wisp providing him massive buffs. And yeah, I think it's GG at this point. Tinker doesn't have his full combo yet. His Dagon is still at level 4, but more importantly, he didn't get to the max item, which is Sheepstick optimally in his inventory at this point, 15 minutes into the game. So their disable front is really lacking, with Na'Vi having BKBs and just being able to blink on them right now, on top of the fact that they have Aegis on the Weaver still, which makes them all the more harder to kill. So yeah, I think the game is pretty much over at this point. BZZ is going to try to finish up his butterfly, but even if he does, it's probably not going to be relevant.
Yeah.
He takes way too much damage from the Skywrath right now. That double triple ulti with the magic amplification coming out of Ancient Seal, he can just solo him up right now. And I really think that the mistake of VP this game overall was they just played too passively in the mid game when they had the advantage.
Oh, of course, the BKB is going to go. They found God. All he did was just E-Blade Dagon an illusion. And they'll lose both the Shaman as well as the Tinker. And they're waiting for more for Seedoy. BZZ is here too. This could be the final fight here for game number 1. Avos pumping up the deeps. He's trying to, should still BZZ. Very, very tanky. Seedoy comes back in again with the Dream Call. But Avos, he doesn't want to stop for this one. He'll take the stun already. Vansko keeps the buff up. There's a good Fissure block, but FNG's in front of Viper. And they're flame breaking him back down again. Okay, there is no way they can defend this. Na'Vi have way too much power. There's even an action rune up on top. That's the DD rune if they want to take it. But there's no buybacks available for Virtus.Pro at all. And there it is. There's the GG call coming 52 minutes in.
Yeah, and a surprising conclusion at that. I thought this was one of those games where VP, if they had even kill numbers with draft, they would just outmuscle the enemy by tower pushing and anchor pushing. And it really, for a moment, I think it really seemed like it, especially at the mid lane when they were able to force out the tower after that huge second Rosh engagement. But I think the real turning point of this game was that first Roshan that Na'Vi got for free.